Have you ever wondered how to solve an equation involving x squared? If yes, you're welcome to my YouTube channel at Math Made Easy with Pearl. Now, let's get right into this. Quadratic equations. Now, an equation involving x squared is a quadratic equation. What do I mean? An equation that is in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, or ax squared plus b equals 0. An equation in this form is regarded as a quadratic equation, where the highest power of the unknown is 2. And in this case, a is not equal to 0, b is not equal to 0, and c is not equal to 0. So this is the general form of a quadratic equation. So whenever you see an equation in this form, know that it is a quadratic equation. Now, we have various methods of solving quadratic equation. Number one, we have the factorization method, and then we have a completing the square method, and then we have quadratic formula method. The formula method. Now, let's get right into the examples, and let me show you how to use these methods in solving quadratic equations. We have to solve these equations. Number one, x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. 2, x squared plus 5 plus 6x plus 1 equals 0. And 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now let's solve this. Solving equation 1, we'll be making use of the factorization method. Let me show you how to use the factorization method. Solving equation 1. Using the factorization method, this is how you go about it. First, we have to look for both the positive and the negative factors of the last term. And what is the last term in this equation? Plus 6 is the last term. So we have to look for the positive and the negative factors of plus 6, whereby any two of them, when being multiplied, gives plus 6, and when added together gives plus 5, which is the coefficient of x. That's the second term. So what are the factors of plus 6? We have here we consider both the positive and the negative factors, not just the positive factors. Just as we have plus 1, we also have minus 1. We have plus 2, we also have minus 2. We have plus 3, we also have minus 3. And then we have plus 6, and we also have minus 6. So these are the factors of plus 6, both the negative and the positive factors. Please, the negative factors are very much included in this case. So we have to look for any two factors among these that when multiplied together gives us plus 6, and when added together gives us plus 5. Please take note of the sign. In this case, the sign is very important. Very important. So the two factors are plus 2 and plus 3. Why? Because plus 2 times plus 2 times plus 3 gives us plus 6, and plus 2 plus 3 gives us plus 5. So you can see that these are the two factors of plus 6 that when multiplied together gives us plus 6, and when added to each other gives plus 5. Then we proceed to have x squared. Now we're going to, what happens here, these two factors that were found, which are +2 and +3, we use them to replace +5x. So we use them to replace +5x in the equation. So we're having +3x plus 2x plus 6 equals 0. Instead of writing +5x, they are now replacing it with 3 and 2, 3 plus 2. And we know that +3x plus 3 plus 3x plus 2x gives us +5x. So we're still on track. Now the next thing to do is to group in 2. That is, we group this and we group this. Now, after grouping, we try to factor out what is common to each group. What is common here and what is common here. Now, what is common to this group? We have x. X is common. When we factor out x here, we're having x, plus when we factor out x here, we have 3. Now, what is common here? For the signs, we factor out positive sign, because positive sign plus is common, and then we factor out 2, because 2 can go here and 2 can go here as well. And then when we factor out +2, we are left with x, and when we factor out +2 from here, we are left with +3 equals 0. Now, what do you notice? You see that these two brackets are the same. What do? We just pick one, and then we bring these ones outside the bracket together. We have x plus 2 equals 0. Now remember, this is an equation, and when solving an equation, whenever you are asked to solve an equation, you are asked to find the variable, to find the value of the variable. Now, and we know that the unknown is x here, and we are asked to find x. Now, how do we find x from here? Now, we have it that if a times b equals 0, this implies that either a is 0 or b is 0. For a times b to be 0, it means that either a is 0 or b is 0. So applying this here, remember these are two different terms multiplying each other. So we can take this as our a and this as our b, multiplying themselves. So if we have that this times this is 0, it implies that either x plus 3 equals what? 0, or x plus 2 equals 0. From here we have x equals -3 or x equals -2. So these are the true values of x that satisfies this equation. Now let's look at another question using completing the square method. Now let's solve question 2 using the completing the square method. Now this method, many students find it very challenging, and it's not. Trust me, it's very easy provided you follow the steps. Now let me show you how to go about it. The first thing to do is to carry the constant over to the other side, which is +1. So we're going to move +1 over to the other side. We have x squared plus 6x equals -1. That is step 1. Now the second thing to do is to take the coefficient of x. And what's the coefficient of x? +6. To take the coefficient of x, which is +6, half it, that's divided by 2, which gives us 3, and then we square it. Then after that, after we've done that, we have to add 3 squared to both sides of the equation. So adding 3 squared to both sides of the equation. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 3 squared equals minus 1 plus 3 squared. So we have x squared plus 6x plus, this gives us 9, equals minus 1 plus 9. So from here, factorizing the left hand side of the equation, we would have x plus 3 x plus 3 equals minus 1 plus 9 gives us 8. Now x plus 3 is just as when you have a times a, which is equal to a squared. So x plus 3 multiplying x plus 3 is the same thing as x plus 3 all squared equals 8. Now the next thing to do is to square root both sides to get rid of the square. So we square root both sides. The square cancels the roots. You are left with x plus 3 equals root 8 plus or minus root 8. Now we're looking for x. So what do? We carry plus 3 over to the other side. And we have x equals minus 3 plus or minus root 8. And so this gives us x equals minus 3 plus root 8, or x equals minus 3 minus root 8. Now a quick reminder, we use completing the square method for quadratic equations that can't be resolved using factorization. So in a case whereby a particular equation cannot be factorized, we can use completing the square method. Now you can see that we are having an irrational root. Now a quick reminder, in cases whereby a particular equation cannot be factorized, we use completing the square method. So if you look closely, you can see that this particular equation cannot be factorized. So rather, it is better to use completing the square method. And then this is our answer. Now let's look at the third example using the quadratic formula. So we have question 3 is 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now this is what the quadratic formula looks like. Quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now remember that we said that the general form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the general form. So in this case, so comparing this general equation with our given equation, you can see that our a is 2 and our b is 3 and our c is minus 2. Now many students make this mistake by omitting the negative sign. Please, this sign is very sensitive, so it's attached to 2, so it's meant to be carried along. Now substituting all these into this formula, we have x equals minus, now don't forget this minus is part of the formula. Many students tend to throw away this negative sign and just impute b there. No, this sign is very, very important. So we have minus 3 plus or minus root of what? B squared, which is 3 squared minus 4ac. That's 4 into bracket 3 2 times minus 2 all over 2a. That's 2 times 2. And so let's simplify. Simplifying, x is equal to minus 3 plus or minus root of 3 squared is 9 minus 4 into bracket 2 times minus 2 is minus 4 all over 2 times 2 is 4. We have x equals minus 3 plus or minus root of 9 minus 4 times minus 4, that is plus 16 all over 4. From here we have x equals minus 3 plus or minus 9 plus 16 gives us 25 all over 4, which is equal to minus 3 plus or minus the root of 25 is 5 all over 4. So we have that x equals minus 3 plus 5 over 4, or x equals minus 3 minus 5 over 4. Then x equals minus 3 plus 5 gives us 2 over 4, or x equals minus 3 minus 5 is minus 8 over 4. So x equals 2 here 1, 2 here 2, 1 over 2, or x equals minus 2. So this is our final answer. So this is how to solve quadratic equations using a quadratic formula, provided you know this formula. The formula is x equals minus b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So provided you know the formula, the rest is easy. I hope this video was helpful to you. If so, please sure do well to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Pearl. Bye.
Friends show up, we laugh all night. New semester got the future in